morning, my East End Baptist Church family, and welcome to the 28th edition of our Words for the Moment. As I mentioned to you on Tuesday, we are embarking on a three-part series as it relates to Father's Day approaching on Sunday. So on Tuesday, we started this series as we are trying to provide words of encouragement to all of our fathers and all of our men. And so this is the second part of that series as it relates to the words for the moment, and then the third part of that series will come on Sunday morning as we come to celebrate our God in spirit and in truth, and as we come to celebrate Father's Day. So as the Lord began to impress upon my heart what to do in terms of this second part of this series in terms of words for the moment, I'm just reminded, even as I stand here once again on my balcony, and as you can see the sky behind me. And if you remember on Tuesday, it was overcast, it was rainy, it was a little bit cool. As a matter of fact, it was a little bit dreary, and so I even had on a bright yellow shirt as kind of symbolizing a ray of sunshine. But as I come to you today, as you can see, the day is a little bit better, still kind of overcast, but it's a little bit warmer and it's a little bit nicer. And so it helped me to understand what a difference a day make, once a difference a day make. And so even as we think about what has taken place over the last couple of months, I think one of the things that's very critical for us men and very critical for us fathers is to understand that every now and then, we need to push the pause button. We need to push the pause button. And what I mean by that, with all of the things that we have on us in terms of being a provider as a father, being able to be that source of strength and health as a father, to being that positive force as a father, being that person who people come to as a father. I think it's very important for us, especially as our anxiety level goes up, as the pressure begins to come upon us, that we understand that every now and then you have to push the pause button. And I'm reminded of a passage of scripture that appears in the book of Isaiah in chapter 29, verse 9, where in the King James Version it says, "Stop and be astonished." Stop and be astonished. Another translation puts it like this: it says, pause and wonder. And so what that means is every now and then we have to exhale. We have to just take a deep breath and just have to take a deep breath and just. So I invite all the fathers, just for this 1 second, as you think about all the stuff that's going on around you, all the challenges that you may face, and I just want you to just push the pause button for just a moment. And I can remember growing up, as I learned how to drive, using a five-speed. That's a manual shift car, not an automatic car, but it was learning how to drive with a 5-speed. And what I learned by driving with a 5-speed is that every time you put it in first gear or second gear or third gear or fourth gear or fifth gear, you always had to pass through neutral. You always had to pass through neutral. So in other words, even as I was shifting gears, I always had to pass through that neutral, which is that pause, in order to go to the next gear. And sometimes, man, we can just be going at 50 miles an hour, and we can be going at 60 miles an hour, and we can just be making it happen and going from first gear of life into second gear of life, into third gear of life, into fourth gear of life, into fifth gear of life. Just realize that in order to shift the gears, you always have to go through neutral. And so as I think about this prophet Isaiah that talks about pause and be astonished, sometimes we just have to pause and be astonished about what God is doing in our lives. We just have to stop for just a moment and just wonder for all of the greatness that God has set before us. Even as we think about our automatic cars that we have now, if you can see, it not only has an R, it has an N, and it has a D. R means reverse, N means neutral, and D means drive. So even as you're putting in your car, getting ready to drive, you have to go through neutral. And even as you prepare to stop, you still have to go through neutral as you put your car in park. And so I just want to encourage you today. I just want to encourage all fathers out there today. I really want to encourage you today. Just take a deep breath and just pause for the moment. I know sometimes your anxiety levels are up, but I'm just encouraging you just to pause before you snap, before you take that aggression that you may have against someone. Just pause for just a moment. Even as we think about all the protesting that's taking place, even as we think about the pandemic that's taking place, even as we think about the economic pressures that so many men and fathers and head of households are under. I just want you to just pause for just a moment. Just pause for this moment. And when you do that, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel so strengthened. You know, the one thing I've learned about power and authority, I may have the power and authority to do something, but real power is reserved power. In other words, I don't have to use all the power that I have. I don't have to use all the authority that I have in a given circumstance. But authority and power is when you have the ability to do, but you pause for just a moment. And that's how our God is. God has the power as our Father to do anything that he wants to do. But many times, the God that we serve just pauses for just a moment to allow us space to get our act together. And so, men, I just want to encourage you today, and I know I keep repeating myself, but I just think this is just so critical. You know, what a difference a day makes. What a difference an hour makes. What a difference a minute makes. You know, before you make any type of rash decisions, before you make any type of difficult decisions, before you lash out, before you do a knee-jerk reaction, just take a minute and just pause. As the book of Isaiah says, stop and be astonished. Pause and experience the wonder of God. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday as we bring the third part of this three-part series, as our intent is to encourage all of our fathers as we prepare ourselves for a wonderful and great Father's Day. Be blessed and have a wonderful day, fathers.